The Dallas Stars make a stand on home ice in Game 5. They take it by a final score of 3-2. Jake Oettinger was terrific. So was everybody in front of him. And the Stars have their first series lead. We're heading to Vegas with a chance to clinch. Let's discuss next on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Dallas Stars are the first home team to win in this series. They take down the Vegas Golden Knights by a final score of 3-2 in a pivotal Game 5 and have a chance to clinch the series on Friday night in Vegas. This was another display of surgical defending by the Dallas Stars in the third period. Once again, just like Game 4, they hold a 3-2 lead heading into the third, and they completely shut down the Vegas Golden Knights. What a victory for the Stars. The American Airlines Center was buzzing from the net on out. The Dallas Stars were ready for the challenge, including a huge breakaway save by Jake Oettinger on Chandler Stevenson in the dying moments of regulation. He is a perfect now in the third period and overtime combined in this series. 55 for 55. When you need him most, it is Oettinger who is there to save the day. What a victory for the Dallas Stars. We are going to celebrate it tonight. And then, of course, we'll move on to Game 6. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. It was just a fantastic display of team defending by the Dallas Stars in the third period. I mean, not giving the Vegas Golden Knights an inch in the final 20 minutes of the game. They pull the goalie late to get the extra attacker, but even then, Dallas is just so stout defensively. Chris Tanev, he's just been so damn good. He was exquisite tonight. Absolutely impeccable. His ability just to neutralize the forecheck himself. And he's not a Thomas Harley or a Miro Heiskanen, but his ability to just brush off contact and find the outlet pass and the Stars can get going the other way is truly one of a kind. The way he does it, he took on some of the better Knights in the game, such as Eichel, to keep him off the score sheet. Marchessault wasn't able to get loose in the contest. And I mean, Miro was world-class too. Just everybody on the back end was sensational. You look at Tanev, his game score 1.39. He played over 23 minutes. Heiskanen played over 24. He was really, really fantastic in the game besides letting Stevenson get behind him. But there is Jake Oettinger once again to save the day. And we were hoping to get this version of Jake more often than not. He let a softie in the first period, of course, but he shuts the door in the third period along with the club in front of him. I mean, the Stars' ability to just box out and be disciplined, because the game got away from them in a way with some of the penalties, which there was a ton of curious calls in the game. How the Pietrangelo forearm shiver to Sagan's nostrils isn't a major, I don't know. The only reason I think they came to that conclusion is because the head contact penalty, which you would think head contact is regarded as, wow, this is the worst penalty you can take, just completely launching yourself into someone's head, which was not the case for Sagan. Since they didn't give him 5 minutes, I guess their rationalization was, oh, we can't give Pietrangelo 5 minutes. I don't know. Either way, the point is mute. Well, not really for Vegas, because the Stars capitalize on the power play. Jason Robertson, I haven't talked about him enough in this series. For all the flack he gets for not being able to perform in the playoffs, which look, I had never subscribed to that, because he is such an impact. Even when he's not scoring, he's such an impact, but he is coming through huge. He picks up a goal, the GWG on the power play off some slick work, and a slick wrist shot past Aiden Hill. And that's all the Stars needed. Just felt like they needed to bury the chances they had. Would have loved to have some insurance. Tanev sent that one up and over the top of the net on the Stankoven setup, but he set him up earlier in the first, which was just, I mean, it was stanky as it gets. The little toe drag to the backhand, slide it across, and Tanev makes no mistake of it. But the Stars now have a 3-2 series lead. They've won 3 in a row on Vegas, and I alluded to it earlier in today's episode and the post-game reaction to Game 4. Dallas is just continuing to get better as the series goes along. You would love for them not to waste their starts as much. They keep getting off to terrific starts, and then you take the penalty, another soft one if you ask me, but who cares? Stone capitalizes, and you're like, gosh, every time the Stars play well in the opening 5-10 minutes, it feels like it's all for naught because Vegas ends up striking. But once again, they get scored on first and they answer right away, and they just continue to battle and continue to work. I mean, the relentless forechecking pressure from Johnston, all 4 lines really were sensational in the game. They end up outchancing Vegas at 5-on-5. 17. Actually, Vegas outchanced them 19-7. But if you go all chances in the game, all situations, Stars outchanced them 29-22. Vegas outchanced them in the third period 9-7. So some excellent stuff there. But if you look at the high danger chances in the third period, Vegas only had 3, just 3, and they were pushing hard. This was a much better third period than it was in Game 4 on the road in Vegas. It was a lot of high flips, just survive. The Stars were on their toes. They were forcing Vegas to regroup in their own zone multiple times. They had no idea where to go. They were trying to stretch the ice. Dallas just pushed them to the outside. You could tell Vegas was making a concerted effort to try to use the middle of the rink to just open up some space. Dallas shut it down, and the Golden Knights just had nowhere to go. And even when they had some sustained zone time, just nowhere to funnel the puck to the net. And when they did, Otter came up with a couple of huge stops. He had the one on Carlson, had another on McNabb early in the period as he got pelted in the forehead a few times. But just excellent stuff from the Dallas Stars, and they have flipped the series on its head, and they have a chance to take out the defending Cup champs here on Friday night. What a save by Jake Oettinger. What a save as I'm watching it here as I scroll through Twitter. Just stays with Stevenson, and it's right pad larceny from Otter, and man, the building erupted after that, and it just felt like it was all she wrote for the Golden Knights. It's remarkable what this defensive group is doing, ladies and gentlemen. And we were hoping they could reach their ceiling at some point. We knew it was a weakness coming into the year. Chris Tanev has been a fantastic acquisition. And my Lord, have they been a fortress in the last 3 games? I mean, really all 5. I thought they've been exquisite. I'm using all the depths of my vocabulary here tonight to try to describe what we're witnessing. And series is still far from over, of course. The hardest game to win is the series clincher, but you feel like you may have gotten Vegas's best shot there, and you just closed it out. And I made a real emphasis on the Stars closing out wins in the regular season, because you have to be able to win these 1-goal games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And boy, have they done it. Boy, have they done it here in games 4 and now 5. And it may be just enough to get the job done in game 6. Remarkable stuff from the Stars. What a victory. First team in the series to win on home ice. And after dropping the first 2 games, look, I was down. Absolutely was. You go down 2-0 to the defending champs. It can look a little bleak, but you have to give them credit. They've fought back, and nothing seems to rattle them. And they get it done. They get it done. They win 3-2. They're now up in the series. And it's really been a full team effort. And this is the depth we were waiting for. Dutchy gets on the board. Hey, thanks for joining us. Matt Duchesne, he picks up a huge goal as well. The Stars are off and running. Let's discuss some of the more just phenomenal team play from the Stars in this one in the next segment. Just dissect a bit more of this game. We'll keep it moving here on Locked On Stars, and we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. Stars fans, with all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is obsessed with finding you ways to save money on tickets. It's also the authorized ticket place of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. The Dallas Mavericks currently playing in game number 5 of their first round series with the Los Angeles Clippers. You want to go to game 6 at home? Go ahead and jump on Game Time. You can see the view from your seat before you buy it, even though there's really not a terrible seat at the American Airlines Center. But you still know there can be some funky spots in arenas. Go ahead and save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for the Mavs game, for a Stars game in the near future, concerts, comedy, theater, you name it, they have it. Game Time can also credit you 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same row or section for less. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So Jake Oettinger has been perfect in the series so far in the third period, and then including overtime in game 3, and he's come up with some monster stops in the series so far tonight. Just really incredible stuff. He's held them in it when the Stars haven't been perfect. The Stars now own an all-time series record of 13-2 when winning game 5 of the best of 7 Stanley Cup playoff round that was tied at 2-2. So there you go. And if you remember, I dropped the nugget in today's preview of Game 5. The team that usually goes on to win Game 5 in a 2-2 series historically wins the series 78% of the time. But just to give you a little more adage of what the Stars did defensively, expected goals against was 0.58 in the third period at 5-on-5. In all situations, 0.59 in that third period. It was 0.24 in the second. It was above 1.5 in the first period. It was a hectic first. It was chaotic. Both sides were going up and down. Adin Hill was all over the place. Otter was sort of out of sync too. And then both sides really settled down in the second. And I just felt like if Dallas got the next goal, they could close it down. And that's what they did. It took till later in the second. They get the power play. Fortunately, a dumb penalty by Pietrangelo. Look, I mean, there's no other way to describe it. A dumb penalty. And Dallas capitalized thanks to Matt Duchene, and then, or not Matt Duchene, Jason Robertson. Johnston picked up 2 assists in the game. He's just been incredible in the series too. But I mean, you look at these numbers at 5-on-5, expected goals against in the third period, 0.59, when Vegas is giving them everything they can handle. That's a lot of Marchessault. That's a lot of Eichel. You could tell they were tired by the end of it. Eichel probably played close to 22 minutes. 24. He played a lot. He played a ton. And as I mentioned, Miro played over 24.5. Lundqvist played close to 3 minutes, so he played a bit more than he did in 3 and 4. They tried to get him in there, and he was okay when he was out there. Not as bad as he was in game 4 by any stretch of the imagination. But look, I said this multiple times too. If Dallas can get this version of Jake Oettinger on a consistent basis, it's going to be really hard to beat the Stars because they have the depth and they're without Mason Marchment and Foxa, who are impactful players, and Dellandrea and Smith have really filled in nicely. You want to know what type of plays win you hockey games? I think this was in the third period, but Ty Dellandrea, he gets the puck in the defensive zone, deep in his own zone. He picks his head up. He's got one Vegas forechecker coming after him. He knows he's about to get pounded, doesn't even see the guy behind him, and he lifts the puck out of the zone. He gets absolutely obliterated, but he took the hit to make the play. Stars can work in a change, and you get fresh legs on. He comes out the next shift and starts buzzing around. Those are the little plays and the details that win you hockey games at this point in the year. And the Stars have started to consistently make them. And they've consistently made them in the last 2 games in the third period. Not as much in game 4. There was some very, very curious plays that led to some Vegas opportunities. But I mean, not a moment I can recall where Dallas was unable to clear the zone, which led to them having to deal with an onslaught from Vegas. I thought it was just really clinical. And when you're able to combine that with a netminder that just will not allow the other side to get one, it just, they have to exude confidence, just exude the energy. And looking at a picture of Oettinger after the buzzer and how pumped he was, just gargantuan stuff from Otter. And you're just getting a version of the Stars that is better. They're better than Vegas. And it was hard to wrap your mind around that in the first 2 games. Because I said, my eye test is telling me the Stars are better. The results obviously are not. And now as the series moves along, it's just longer stretches where Dallas is displaying they're a bit more comfortable. They're just more comfortable. And now Vegas is dealing with some injuries. They tried to shake things up for tonight. And Adin Hill was fine. I just thought it was curious to not start him in the series. I would have started with Adin Hill. And I know he had not been playing very well coming into the series, but guys sometimes just live for the big moments, and what he did last year in the postseason, maybe you ride with that pedigree. And Thompson has been really, really good, but I understand trying to spark something. So it was an intriguing move. Not as much for me in the fact that it happened in game 5. It was just felt late to do it. Well, not late because Thompson had been playing well, but if you ask me, you go to Hill and then you can go back to Thompson. You can fall back on Thompson. But look, this is hindsight's 2020 in a lot of these areas. So I'm not going to dig much deeper into the net mining change. But the Stars were able to put a few holes in Hayden Hill, and they just closed it down. And at this point, a lot of the series comes down to, because they're just both so even. Both these teams are so good. It's who's going to execute when they get opportunities more. And Dallas has been really, really sticky defensively. They've been really diligent in boxing out in front of Otter. And if the Stars execute on their chances more often, they're going to win the series, I think. And you want to close it out in 6. You don't want to have to come home for game 7. It's nice that you have that, but you have a chance to go in their building, which I hope they're going to relish. I think they're going to relish trying to throw out the knockout punch in their building, as Vegas did a year ago in Dallas. So a lot on the line with one more game to go. Stars up in the series now, 3-2 with a chance to close it out Friday night in Vegas. And we'll jump into some more conversation as we look in to game 6 on Friday night in just a moment. Alrighty, Stars fans, time to stop thinking about the game. We got to pause here, and we got to talk about another game, Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying, flag on the play. You've already talked about that, but there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. You have unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. You have cool new playing pieces to travel boards with, hilarious emojis, and you could also steal your friend's vault. Take the 30 seconds right now and go ahead and download Monopoly Go on the App Store or Google Play Store. It takes no time at all, and you can have a ton of fun with Monopoly Go. It's new, it's exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games. You can dig for treasure, and there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover on Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it for free. It's on the Google Play Store or App Store. Go play. Alrighty, game 6 on Friday night in Vegas with the Stars having a chance to clinch the series. They do not have a game time as of yet, as I'm currently recording. Let me check the app and or Twitter to see. They may have to wait for a conclusion of another series, perhaps. Who knows? Yeah, they don't have one, so still TBD. As I'm recording this, I assume if Edmonton closes out, well, no, they should get the early game either way. Yeah, they should have the early game either way. Actually, no. Well, they won't have the early game. Excuse me. Sorry, this is terrible podcasting. But the Canucks and Predators game 6 is at 6:00, so probably an 8:30 start in there, or 8:30 perhaps, or they could do an early afternoon game. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not going to pretend to know. So just be on the lookout for for a game 6 time. But I feel like Dallas is so comfortable now within their game, and I touched on this with Vegas in the first 2, where they were just so comfortable and disciplined with their own the system and adapting to the style of game. Whereas now it's Dallas that's controlling the tempo. And a lot of it is just simple stuff. It really is real simple stuff. Just making clean passes. They've been excellent in the dump and change game. It's not something they really aspire to do a ton of, but they have been really, really diligent on just throwing pucks in and forcing Vegas to retreat, because right now the defensemen for the VGK have just not been good enough on their retrievals, on their outlets. They just haven't been good enough. They've fumbled a lot of pucks. They've uh, they've turned it over way too much. And some of their, bigger players, or they're so-called, best defensemen, have really had some tough luck with the puck here, especially in the last 3 games. And Dallas is starting to generate those turnovers into chances. Would love to look at the turnovers in the game, but I mean, the amount of giveaways the Stars are having. Dallas had 9 takeaways in the game. They only credited with Vegas with 2, which, yeah, I don't know about that. Giveaways and takeaways sometimes are very, very different. But in general, just the defense for the VGK just hasn't been very sharp, and they changed up the pairings. Pietrangelo wasn't particularly good with Martinez. Hanifin, pretty much game in and game out, is their game breaker. They've held Theodore in check. McNabb had a couple of good looks again. Finally, he doesn't break through. He's had a couple of big goals, but the Stars are just able to push through, and they were able to push past a big push from Vegas in the third period. And now you're left with a tall task on Friday to try to beat Vegas here 4 times in a row. And they can certainly do it. They can certainly do it if they subscribe to the formula we saw in Vegas here just a few nights ago. But again, it's really simple stuff. You get great net minding in key moments. You score a power play goal in that moment. You just relentless with the forecheck. I mean, Stankoven's all over the place. Oh my gosh. He's been sensational too in this series. Just seems to thrive in the moment, thrive in the big game, just all over the place. He's a water bug, just sifting around out there, just looking to make someone's life just complete chaos. And he had a beautiful setup on the Dodonov goal. Should have had another if Dodonov didn't rip it over the pipe. I was hoping that was not going to come back to haunt the Stars, because you should have scored on what was essentially a 3-on-0. Maybe Stankoven needs to be a bit more selfish there and put the puck on net. But look, he's a facilitator, I feel like, at heart, and maybe he should have just ripped it on net. So yeah, I'm really intrigued on Game 6, because Vegas to some degree looks exhausted, where they just don't seem to have an answer, and how much more can they give? They have a lot of guys that just aren't 100%. I know Stone scored, but was pretty much a non-factor. After that, Eichel's the only one that seems to be able to kind of give them anything in most of the game. But the Stars shut him down for the most part. Esa Lindell late in the third just picked his pocket. Tanev, Miro, Harley all had their cracks at number 9. And they kept him off the score sheet. And if you do that, or not the score, he did pick up an assist, on the power play goal. But if you limit him to those looks, you're going to win a lot of games against Vegas. And if you can get to 3, I'm extremely comfortable with the Stars just closing it out. And they did here in Game 4 and now Game 5. What a fun game, though. Another thrilling game. These These two teams just, it's punch after punch. Who's going to deliver the knockout blow? And Dallas has a chance to do it now in Vegas. But such a fun hockey game again, and happy that the Stars are on the right side of the result once again. Let me know in the comment section how you're feeling after a gritty Game 5 win for the Dallas Stars. They take a series lead for the first time, up 3-2. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Support's been amazing as always. Thank you so much. It's been so fun as we're riding this emotional roller coaster. Follow Locked On Stars on Twitter. You can follow me at JoeyTheJet19. Plenty of great stuff we're pumping out here on a daily basis. I enjoy doing some of those just quick little like preview episodes, not doing a total 30-minute. So I may put one of those out on Friday. We may get a full episode on Friday. Don't know for sure. We'll have a full episode on Thursday, though, of course. Yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, great stuff. Stars take Game 5 by a final score of 3-2. Let me see if there's any nuggets I can drop for you on the way out. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Twitter to the rescue. This is the first time in Dallas Stars history they go from being down 2-0 in a series and winning the next 3 straight games. How about that? So I assume it would be the first time in franchise history if they win 4 straight after going down 0-2. And that's the opportunity they have for themselves in Vegas. That'll do it for today's episode. Thank you so much as always. Enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully we enjoy a Mavs win, and we will see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.